good evening, and welcome to another episode of Empowered to Live. Good evening. I am your host, Andrea Rose Butler. Welcome again to Empowered to Live. I hope you guys had a great day today. We are jumping in, still talking about purpose, how to live on purpose. Again, is this the focus for the remainder of 2024? Because we want to go ahead and jumpstart you into 2025 so that you are prepared. So on January 1, you hit that ground running in your purpose, and you're prepared and not getting prepared, but you've already prepared before the year gets here. So we wanted to make sure that you are ready to hit the ground running and rolling in 2025 by, writing out your goals, writing out the objectives, what you hope to accomplish, and getting all of the kinks worked out so that when we hit January 1st, that you are ready to go. So again, good evening and welcome to Live Empowered. And that's what our goal is for you, is to live the empowered life. And again, our foundational scripture for the Live Empowered is that God has given us everything that we need to live out this life and to live godly. And so you have everything that you need already within you to do what you need to do. And we're saying that we're going into 25 with no excuses, no procrastinations, no delays, no more, when the time is now. I shared from I will call her a friend, Cheryl Pelote Williamson, that she has been doing amazing things. And, she shared this past week about the timing is now. She's like, this is the time for you to write that book, get that business, get that loan, do the things, go back to school, whatever it is that you have been putting off doing, the time is now. I shared last week about when is your win? When is your win? Like when is when going to come for you? And, we put things off and we keep saying that when all the conditions are right, then I will do whatever. We know for a lot of people, when never comes. And we want to make sure that that's not your story, that in between the day you were born and the day that you leave this earth, that you would accomplish the things that you have set out and that you were purposed and created to do. And I know that I'm on the right track because I've been hearing all this week, actually since June, about the fact that, that purpose is the thing that we are called for with purpose. We are created with purpose. We are created for purpose. And God did not make a mistake in making you, creating you, allowing you to be born, allowing you to live, to be where you are today without him having a purpose. And so for everything that you are, that God, he wants you to have that, he wants you to have that purpose fulfilled and not abandoned. No, don't, you don't want to come to a certain point in your years and look back and have regret. And I wish I had done this sooner. I wish I had moved here. I wish I had done this. We don't want to have the wishes. We want to say, you know what? I be like Paul when he got to the end of his life. He's like, I fought a good fight. I ran my race. I finished the course. I did what I was supposed to do. And he says, now I'm ready to go. And so we want that to be our story, that when we get to the end of life, that we can look back and say, I did what I was supposed to do. I know that I've accomplished the things that I said I was going to do, the things that I set out to do. I know that I accomplished them. And that's what I'm working on. I'm working on making sure that all the things that I said that I was going to do, that I felt that God was calling me to do, that I have been putting off. Some things, the timing wasn't right. And I know the timing wasn't right because things were not lining up, no matter how much I tried to twist it and turn it and do all the things. It just wasn't working out. And so, and I heard today, I don't remember his name. I think I saved his reel from today. And he said, sometimes we put the effort and we do stuff and we are doing it, but it's not what we were purposed to do. We do it because sometimes it was convenient and then we got stuck in it and we just end up in this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And so we never move forward because then it became easy because we got stuck in a rut. And we don't want, sometimes it's fear or embarrassment. We don't want to say, I'm not in the place where I was supposed to be. And I'm here now, so I'm just going to stay here. And that's not what your story needs to be. If you know that you're not in the place where you're supposed to be, we're going to cast off fear. We're going to cast off doubt. We're going to put aside procrastination. All the things we're going to lay that all aside, and we're going to get up. You know, just like the prodigal son, where he was in that hog pen and he was just like, I left my father's house. I left all this stuff. And here I am wallowing in this. I'm going to get up and I'm going to go. And he said to himself, you know, kind of paraphrasing, I'm not going to let my past mistakes determine my future. And so he got up and he says, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go. I'm going to apologize to who I need to apologize to. I'm going to rebuild the bridge that I burnt down. And I'm going to go back to my father. And so for us, if you know that you're in a place that you are in by choice, by accident, however you got there, and you know this is not the place where you're supposed to go, I'm saying to you today, this is your opportunity to say, I'm going to get up. I'm going to get up from this place and I'm going to go to the place where I know I'm supposed to be. I'm going to be walking in my purpose, walking in the calling and into the place that I know that I'm supposed to be. I'm going to get up and I'm going to go back. And there's no shame in going back. You know, sometimes when, you know, I don't know if you'd ever traveled and took a wrong road, and you keep driving, hoping that you're somehow going to find a way back. And then finally you're just like, you know what? I have to go back to the place where I went off the road. And sometimes it's a long journey back, you know, depending on how far away that you got from that place that you turned off. But it's always best to turn around, because if you need to be going east and you're heading west, you're never going to get to your destination. And so it's best to turn around and to go back and start back to the place where you were before and recognize, okay, this is where I went off track, and get back on track so you can get back on the road of where you need to be. And so I don't know who that is for today, but that's my admonishment to you. If you know that you have gotten off track and you are in a rut, or you're in a place where you know you're not supposed to be, it's time to turn around and go back to the place where you knew that you were supposed to be from the beginning, and then continue the journey on to where you are meant to be, because you are purposed for great things. You are purposed to do good works. That's why you were created in Christ Jesus. Before the foundation of the world, he called you, and he put his name on you, regardless of whether you believe in him or not. He has put, it's in you, because we were created to walk in a purpose. And so no matter where you are, it's that time, turn around and go back to the place where you knew that you went off course, and get back and start on the journey where you know you're supposed to be, and to walk in that purpose. Maybe you stopped on the side of the road and you're stuck at the side of the road, and you need help to get off the side of the road, because sometimes we know stuff happens and we break down and we're stuck and we can't go on, and we need some assistance to get where we need to go. There's no shame in asking for help either, to say, you know what, I don't know how to get back. I don't know how to get started. I don't know how to move forward. I don't know how to do whatever it is I need to do, and I've gotten stuck. You know, I've broken down on the side of the road, and, you know, and that's a scary place to know this is not where I'm supposed to be, but I don't know how to move forward. I need help in getting there. There is no shame in that either. And if you need that help, reach out to me. And we'll walk on this journey together. And so whatever it is, maybe the vehicle, the way that you needed to get there is no longer there. Maybe you needed that encouragement and you needed someone to push you and into your destiny, to push you into your purpose. And those cheerleaders that you had are no longer with you. Know that you have cheerleaders that are with you. And so we are here for you. We are willing to help you again in that venture of, cheering you on and giving whatever assistance that you need. And I tell you, every Thursday night, I'm going to be here. As the Lord gives me breath, this is where I'm going to be to encourage you and inspire you through the remainder of 2024 that you are created for purpose, with purpose, and on purpose. And so your life has meaning. Your life is valuable. And there is so much more that is there for you that, than you can even see. It says that eyes haven't seen and ears haven't heard, nor it is even entered into the hearts of the things God has created for you. And so when you start walking in purpose, that's when the things start falling into place. And I've seen that recently, just some things that have been happening. I'm going to share a little bit later as we go that, I know that the journey that I'm on right now, that this is where I'm supposed to be and what I'm doing is what I need to be doing, because the things have been lining up to let me know this is where what I'm doing is what I'm supposed to be doing. And the witnesses have come to say you're on the right track. And so you will know that you are in the right place, doing the right thing, and that he will send those witnesses to encourage you, to let you know you're in the right place and this is the right time for you to do whatever it is that you need to do. And so, again, we are pushing we are here today, to say, why am I here? You're here because you are called for a purpose. You were created for a purpose. Nothing, I've shared in past lives that everything that you have experienced, every place that you have been, every person that you have been in contact with, whether good, bad, or ugly, God can use all of that together. He's going to use and will use all of it together for good, for your good, and to bring him glory, which is the reason why we were created. And so as we look back and we think about, where we are, the things that we have experienced. I think last week I shared and I said for you to write down, the jobs that you've had in the past, the experiences that you've had, whether good or bad, and what is this that you're feeling that you should be doing? How does that line up to where you need to be today? And so all of those things, again, are working together for your good and for God's glory, because they're bringing you into your purpose. So nothing that happened, happened by accident, whether it was by the choice of man or the will of God. All of it works together, maybe or even your choice, which is part of the will of man, where you made a choice and you're like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. God can still use all of those things and work them together for the purpose that he has for you, because your story that you have is part of that journey, is part of your purpose, because there are people that are going to come into your life or who may already come into your life that need to know it's okay where they are. It's okay. And that there is purpose behind everything that happens. And so when you start walking in your purpose, and you begin to see that come to pass, when you begin to see all the things that are happening and you recognize how God is working it together, it's a beautiful story. It's a beautiful story. And so he, again, wants to use it. Your why is a beautiful thing. And so when you know that you're not here by accident and that you have purpose, and even there's purpose in your pain, there's purpose in your mistakes, in our choices, everything that we've done, and nothing is wasted. I shared the first night that we went live that I wrote a song, about 10, 12 years ago called It's Not Wasted. It's not wasted. This life that we've been given, it's not wasted. Every dream that we've dreamed, it's not wasted. Every disappointment that we have faced, God is working it together, or he's all according to his plan, and none of it is wasted. And so so sometimes he has to remind me of that song, say, none of it is wasted. I didn't waste, nothing is wasted. I'm not wasting anything. And so everything that we've faced, everything we've experienced, none of it is wasted. And God is going to use it for good. He's going to use it for his glory and for your good. It's going to come out. Jesus said it's going to come out in the wash. It's going to come out, and it's going to be a beautiful thing. When you come to the end and we can look back. And like I said, like Paul, we can say, I fought this good fight. I did it. With the help of God, I did it. I did what I was supposed to do. I ran my race well, and I finished my race, and I'm excited because I know that I did what I was supposed to do. No one can take that from you. No one can take that from you, and so that reminder of, you again have that purpose in life. And so when we choose to walk in our purpose, when we choose to live out that life, when we choose to know that we are being called, and when we align our life, when we allow God, we have to surrender everything to him and allow him to work and allow him to use it, and no shame. Take the, you always tell us, what's that saying? Tell the truth and shame the devil. So when you begin to share and to begin to tell and begin to explore and allow God again to use everything that you have, though, even though those hidden parts that you're like, I don't want anybody to know this about me. And one of the things that I have done, in my life is that, I've had some things that was fully associated, happened to me that are associated with shame, domestic violence. Nobody wants to talk about those. Child abuse, nobody wants to talk about that. Sexual assault, nobody wants to talk about those things. I've been homeless. Nobody wants to talk about that. All those things are shameful things. Nobody wants to share that, especially when you're a believer. Who wants to say this is what happened? But when you put that out there, the devil can't use it against you anymore. And so I learned that once I tell my story, then it can't be used. And so part of my purpose and part of the things that I am here, like I said, for me, is to inspire, to encourage, and to motivate, to empower you to live the life that I know that is great for you, that he promised us to have that abundant life, not only in heaven with him, but here on earth as well. And it's not necessarily about, I got the fancy car and I've got the big house. That's not always abundant life, because that comes with its own set of trials. But God has a plan for you. That's an abundant life for you, whether you're in a trailer or you're in a mansion. You can still have that contentment because you know that you have lived out the life that you're supposed to live. I shared last week, we've been talking about Solomon. And Solomon was the wealthiest man that ever lived. And he got to almost the end of his life, and he was just like, all of this is a waste. Can you imagine? He got to the end and said, all of this is a waste. It's all foolishness. It's all vanity. It's just nothingness. And so until he recognized that the choices that he made put him in this place, and once he began to see and the wisdom that he was given, he began to make that turn. But there was so much that was out there for him that he learned to recognize that all of it was vanity and a wasting. And again, I don't want that to be your story. I want that story for you to be Paul, that you finished your race and you ran well, and that you, at the end of your life journey, you recognize the good that you were able to accomplish in the world, that you lived your purpose, and that you had and lived the empowered life. I want to thank you all for joining me again on another Thursday evening. We'll continue to share about living on purpose, living for purpose, and living with purpose. Again, I want you to finish 2024 strong. We've got 3 months left to get your plans in order so that in 25 you can hit the ground running. So that's my goal for you, is that when 25 rolls around, I want to hear the testimonies of what you were able to accomplish in 2025. And like I said, I'm still building out the show, but right now, where I feel like the direction that I have right now is to talk about purpose. And I shared too that even, I'm teaching Sunday school this quarter, and it's talking about purpose. And I was like, look at God, And when I was given that assignment, it was like, oh, we know this is where you are. That's why you're here. And because, and it's all talking about purpose. We're talking about purpose abandoned, the reason why we give up on our purpose. And I might share about that next week. Why did we give up on our dreams? Why did we give up on the purpose that we have, when we get out there? And so again, thank you for joining me for another Thursday night of Live Empowered. Have a great night. And remember, we have everything that we need to live out this life and to live godly. Have a great night. Bye-bye.